There are 7 pickup trucks sitting on used car lots that salespeople are begging people to test drive, and I know a lot of mechanics who are scooping them up for pennies on the dollar. No, these are not project trucks or compromises that are just good enough for the price. I'm talking steals that will run 250,000 miles with only some oil and brake pad changes. These are trucks that should be thousands of dollars more than their current price, and you can choose today exactly which one to pick. Number 7. Ford Edge, the discontinued deal that scares buyers. This SUV is a quieter bargain that buyers skip for a silly reason, and that reason is discontinued panic. People hear EcoBoost stories, picture a brutal repair, and they walk. So these sit on lots and the discounts get real. What makes Edge different is how it gives you 2-row space that feels bigger, but it drives like a normal commuter, and it parks without drama, so daily life stays calmer. Our buyer rule is simple. You buy the right years, and you avoid the known trap years, and suddenly this becomes a smarter family tool. Best years to buy are the later second-generation examples after the coolant intrusion window, especially when service records are clean, and the trim stays simple. Years to avoid are 2015 through 2018 with the 2.0 EcoBoost, because that is the window tied to coolant in cylinders, low coolant, and white smoke, and it can turn into an expensive engine job fast. If you see one of those years, do not fall in love. Ask for proof of a proper engine repair, or walk away and keep moving. If this guide saves money, subscribe today. We share reliable SUVs, strong years, and quick checks so you avoid traps and keep your wallet safer. The new price of the Ford Edge when it was sold new was about $35,990 to $44,845 depending on trim. The used price of the Ford Edge in the safer years is about $16,850 to $26,000, depending on miles and equipment. Best years we shop 2020 through 2024 first, because those listings usually have updated software and calmer ownership. Worst years are the 2015 through 2018 2.0 EcoBoost window, and we say that twice because it saves thousands. The one common failure we watch, besides the engine issue in the past years, is rear brake hose trouble on some 2015 through 2018 vehicles, because a hose leak can reduce braking and the pedal feel can change, and that is safety. Who should buy Edge? Commuter dads, 2-kid families, and anyone who wants a roomy cabin without paying 3-row money, plus buyers who like negotiating, because this model gets overlooked. Who should skip Edge? Heavy towing buyers, and anyone who hates screen-heavy cabins, because you will use the electronics daily, and repairs can get annoying. Start with a true cold start and listen for rough idle, then check coolant level and look for dried residue, because coolant loss is damage. Take a full warm drive and watch temperature stability, and confirm shifts feel smooth without hunting, because a bad drive feel is a warning. In a safe spot, do a firm brake test and feel the pedal, because soft travel can signal a leak, and that is critical. Then test the camera, sensors, and every screen menu, because small glitches become stress. Finally, check the underbody for rust, especially in salt states, because rust spreads quickly and it kills value. For negotiation, price tires, brakes, and overdue fluids today, and ask for a discount that matches parts, not talk. If you want an SUV that is the opposite of Edge, bigger, tougher, and punished for fuel costs, number 6 is a body-on-frame hauler that can still be a value win when you buy the safe years. Number 6. Nissan Armada, big value that gets punished for fuel economy. This SUV is a bigger hammer, and it can feel bulletproof if you avoid the wrong years. Armada sits because buyers fear fuel costs, fear size, and assume every big Nissan is a repair trap, so the prices drop harder than Tahoe or Sequoia money. What makes Armada different is real towing muscle, a tall driving view, and a cabin that can feel plush on long highway miles, so road trips feel easier. The buyer guide rule is to pick the years that are past the known cylinder 7 drama, and to demand records, because big SUVs punish neglect. Best years to buy are 2020 and newer used examples with clean history, because they are outside the 2017 through 2019 cylinder 7 bulletin range, and they tend to feel more sorted. Years to avoid are 2017 through 2019 Armadas, unless paperwork proves the cylinder 7 inspection was done and any needed repair was completed, because the bulletin describes cylinder wall scuffing that can lead to knocking and expensive engine work. One common failure to watch is that engine tick or knock on cold start that does not go away because that sound can be a warning sign, not just noise. The new price of the Nissan Armada in the newest model year sits about $58,840 to $80,550 depending on trim. The used price of Nissan Armada in the safer years is about $19,450 to $40,000, depending on the year and miles. The best years are 2020 through 2024 if the history is clean. Worst years are 2017 through 2019, unless the bulletin paperwork is solid, because that risk is painful. Who should buy Armada? Road trip families, people who tow light to medium, and buyers who want a quiet big cabin and do not mind fuel stops because the comfort is real. Who should skip Armada? City-only drivers, and anyone who hates tight parking because this SUV is wide and it makes small garages feel stressful. Begin with a cold start and listen for ticking. Then let it warm and confirm the idle stays stable and the engine feels smooth. Check service records for oil changes and cooling system care, because neglected fluids create damage and heat kills engines. During the test drive, feel for driveline vibration under light load and under mild acceleration, because worn joints can become costly. Check brakes and tire wear closely, because heavy SUVs eat pads, and a tire set is expensive. Do a full electronic sweep, cameras, locks, windows, and HVAC, because long trips magnify small problems into annoying stress. Then get under it and inspect frame areas and mounts for rust, because rust is critical and it spreads. For negotiation, use the next brake job, the next tire set, and any missing service records as leverage, because big trucks have big bills. If this big SUV surprised you, the next one shocks people even more, because it is smaller, quieter, and it gets ignored for badge bias, not because it breaks. Number 5. Buick Envision, the quiet bargain. People distrust. This SUV feels like premium comfort for cheaper money, and that is why it belongs here. Envision sits because badge bias is real, and the made-in chatter makes buyers hesitate, even when the cabin feels quieter and the ride feels smoother than most sporty compacts. What makes it different is the calm daily feel, the seats that feel plush without being soft, and the way it soaks bad pavement so your commute feels less stressful. It is not trying to be a track to. It is trying to keep you comfortable, and that is why owners who pick the right years tend to keep them. Best years to buy are the newer examples where reliability expectations improve and complaint volume cools off. So we aim at 2021 through 2024 for used shopping when the history is clear and the maintenance looks normal. Years to avoid are the worst complaint year that shows up in owner gripes, plus the year where reliability looks weaker. So we stay away from early first-year examples when the listing has thin records, and we avoid any year where the test drive shows shudder and the seller acts clueless. The new price of the Buick Envision is about $36,000 to $49,000, depending on trim and options. The used price of Buick Envision is about $16,500 to $28,500 for the safe years, depending on miles and equipment. One common failure to watch is low-speed shudder linked to torque converter clutch behavior, and you only catch it when the SUV is fully warm and you do slow rolling acceleration and light braking, because that is when it shows its true colors. Who should buy this SUV? Anyone who wants quieter, comfort, easy entry, and a calm cabin without paying German money, especially retirees, commuters, and small families who want a reliable daily tool. Who should skip it? Buyers who need maximum cargo or who hate touchscreen dependence, because you will use the screen and cameras every day, and glitches become annoying. Start with a warm drive plan, not a quick loop, because shudder hides until everything is hot and the transmission is working hard. During the drive, do a slow cruise at neighborhood speed and feel for vibration, then do a gentle stop because torque converter issues show in that band. Next, test shift feel from a full stop and from a rolling stop. You want smoother changes, not a bump that feels unsettled. Then run HVAC in every mode: heat, cold, defrost, and back vents, because a weak blend door can turn winter into misery. After that, test the camera, parking sensors, and screen response, because older infotainment that freezes turns simple errands into stress. Check tires for uneven wear and look at the alignment story, because a cheap deal can hide curb damage. Finally, read the service history for regular oil changes and a calm ownership pattern, because records are proof and they keep you safer. If you want the quiet luxury feel but you want even less fuel spend, number 4 is a Toyota that people forget exists: and it can be a smarter commuter play when you avoid one specific year. Number 4. Toyota Venza. What is that hybrid that sits? This is one of the most reliable commuter SUVs most people never even search for, and that is wild. Venza sits because it got overshadowed by the RAV4, then it got discontinued, so shoppers stopped typing the name, and dealers are left with listings that move slower. What makes it different is hybrid-only driving that feels smoother in traffic, a cabin that stays quieter at speed, and an ownership vibe that is calm when you keep up with basic service. It is not a tiny crossover, so it feels more comfortable on long drives, and it does not scream for attention, which is exactly why it gets overlooked. Best years to buy are the later hybrid years after early bugs calm down and the final model year bargains. So we aim at 2022 through 2024, because those listings tend to have more consistent software updates and fewer early build quirks. Years to avoid are 2021, because that is the year that shows the heaviest complaint volume, and it is also the year where screen behavior can be the deal breaker if it freezes or goes blank. The new price of the Toyota Venza when it was sold new was about $33,000 to $43,000, depending on trim. The used price of the Toyota Venza is about $21,500 to $34,000 for the safe years, depending on miles and trim. One common failure to watch is multi-display freezing or a blank screen on the premium audio setup. And that matters because the screen runs a lot of daily functions, so a glitch becomes annoying fast. Who should buy Venza? Commuters, couples, and anyone who drives high miles and wants calmer fuel spend with a quieter cabin. Plus, snow state drivers who want stable traction without a truck. Who should skip it? Buyers who need max cargo or who want a sporty feel, because this SUV is built for comfort and efficiency, not sharp corner fun. First, treat the screen like a mechanical part, because you will touch it every day. On the test drive, cycle the display through menus, switch audio sources, use navigation if equipped, and go into reverse multiple times to confirm the camera wakes up fast and stays stable. Second, do a warm drive in stop-and-go traffic if you can, because the hybrid feel should be smoother, not jerky, and braking should feel consistent. Third, listen for wheel-bearing hum at highway speed, because a low drone can hide until you hit steady speed, and it turns into an expensive weekend if ignored. Fourth, check tire wear patterns and brake thickness, because hybrids can be gentle, but neglected tires still cause vibration, and they drain confidence. Fifth, confirm recall work and software updates were handled, because updates can fix screen problems and keep daily use calmer. Sixth, check the windshield and front radar area for cracks or poor repairs, because driver assist sensors are safety, and a damaged area can trigger warnings that are annoying. If you like the calm Toyota ownership story, but you need 3 rows and real family space, the next SUV is where people get scared by old horror stories, yet the right years are a value bargain. If these buyer rules save you money, subscribe today. We list best years, avoid years, common failures, and price reality so you buy smarter, not stressed. Number 3. Buick Enclave. Family space that gets judged by the old generation. This car has almost everything a family needs, and it stays cheaper for a reason that has nothing to do with daily reliable driving. Enclave sits because people remember early generation transmission horror stories and assume every Enclave is the same, so they pay Pilot money or Highlander money and ignore the bigger cabin bargain right in front of them. What makes Enclave different is huge third-row space for the money, a road trip ride that feels plush and quieter than most mainstream 3 rows, and wide doors that make kids and grandparents easy to load, so life feels calmer. The buyer guide rule is simple. You do not shop the early generation trap years. You shop the second generation years where the ownership story improves, and the drivetrain feels more sorted. The best years to buy are the second generation window, and we focus on 2018 through 2022 first, because these listings often have the best mix of value and updated features without feeling ancient. Years to avoid are early generation models with high transmission failure complaints, and the worst year in that early run is 2008. So we treat 2008 as a hard pass, and we are cautious with the nearby early years unless there is iron proof of major transmission work. The one common failure to watch is transmission failure symptoms tied to the wave plate and related internal issues in those early years, and it shows up as harsh shifts, slipping, or a sudden loss of forward gears, which is a painful bill that can ruin the whole deal. The new price of the Buick Enclave is about $46,000 to $61,000 depending on trim, Used price of Buick Enclave AI is about $17,500 to $33,000 for the safer years, depending on miles and condition. Who should buy this SUV? Families who need real third-row space and want a deal versus Pilot and Highlander pricing, plus anyone who road trips and wants a cabin that stays silent and comfortable when the highway gets rough. Who should skip it? Buyers who want sharp handling or who never use the third row, because you will be dragging extra size and weight you do not need. Starts with a warm drive, because shift problems can hide when cold, so drive it until everything is hot, then feel for smoother. Shifts at light throttle and medium throttle, because harsh shifting is a warning. Do a slow roll, then a firm stop, then pull away, because torque converter shutter will show as a vibration that feels unsettled. Run the HVAC hard in every mode, front and rear, because weak rear AC turns a summer trip into misery. Do a full electronic sweep, cameras, screens, seat motors, and power liftgate, because modules can be annoying and they add costs. Check tires and brakes like a mechanic, because a three-row eats pads and tires, and those bills hit day one, not later. Look underneath for rust at subframe points if you are in salt states, because rust is damage and it spreads. For negotiation, use tire age, brake thickness, and missing service records as leverage, because sellers love to talk, but you need proof. If you buy the right years, this is one of the few big family SUVs that can feel like luxury without luxury repair pain, and that is the whole reason it belongs here. And if you think this family barge is big, number 2 is the driver's pick, because it handles better than most. But you must follow one strict year rule, or you risk a coolant nightmare. Number 2, Mazda CX-9. Premium feel that needs one strict year rule. This is one of the most comfortable three-row SUVs out there for drivers, and that is why it shocks people when it sits on lots. CX-9 gets ignored because it was discontinued after 2023. So shoppers assume parts issues and walk away, even though Mazda parts supply is solid and the platform is common enough to service. What makes it different is the upscale interior feel, the steering that feels more connected, and the way it stays stable on the highway without feeling floaty, so you actually enjoy driving your family around. This is not the biggest third row in the world, but the front seats feel plush, the cabin feels quieter than you expect, and the whole thing feels more expensive than its price band. The buyer guide rule is one strict year rule. You shop the later production years that are outside the coolant leak subject window, and you demand records because this engine can be great when it is healthy and painful when it is not. The best years to buy are 2021 through 2023 with full service history, because they sit in the later run where updates and revisions are more common, and buyers often trade them for newer models, which means you can negotiate. Years to avoid are 2016 through 2020 models equipped with the 2.5 turbo that fall under the warranty extension for coolant leaks at the cylinder head, unless repair proof is clear and the work was done correctly, because this is not a maybe issue, it is a real wallet risk. The one common failure to watch is a coolant leak at the cylinder head around the exhaust manifold, and the reason it matters is that it can start small, then turn into overheating, misfires, and a tow. And that is the kind of pain that makes people swear off the brand forever. The new price of the Mazda CX-9, when it was sold, new was about $38,000 to $49,000, depending on trim. Used price of Mazda CX-9 about $19,000 to $34,000 for the safer years, depending on miles and condition. Who should buy CX-9? Families who want a nicer drive and only use the third row sometimes, plus buyers who care about comfort and a premium feel without paying luxury badge money. Who should skip it? People who need adult third row space every day, because the back row is better for kids in short trips, not 6-foot adults on a long drive. Start with the nose, do a cold start, and smell for sweet coolant. Then pop the hood and look for residue near the rear of the engine area, because coolant leaks leave clues. Check the coolant level and look for any history of topping off, because repeated topping offs are a warning. Do a full warm-up drive and watch temperature stability. The gauge should stay stable, and the heater should stay hot, because fluctuating heat can signal air in the system. After the drive, look underneath for drips and check for a steam smell, because a leak can show after heat soak. Confirm service history, oil changes, coolant services, and any warranty work notes, because paper is proof, and it keeps you safer. Check tire wear and brake thickness, because this SUV can be heavy on front tires, and uneven wear can signal alignment issues that cost money. Also, test every camera and sensor, because modern safety systems are expensive, and you do not want warning lights that become annoying. If you follow the year rule and you verify the coolant story, this SUV gives you that premium daily feel without the premium repair trap, and that is why it earns this spot. And now we go to number 1. The 2-row SUV people skip, because it is priced near a 3-row sibling, but it is the safer long-term play when you actually keep vehicles. If you want reliable buyer rules, subscribe today. We call out best years, avoid years, common failures, and price reality so you buy smarter, not stressed. Number 1. Honda Passport, the 2-row that people skip for the wrong reason. If you want an SUV that feels solid, stays reliable, and does not turn into a repair trap, this is your pick. Passport sits because it is priced close to Pilot, and shoppers do the lazy math. They say just get 3 rows, and they miss the point. What makes Passport different is that you get the Pilot-based V6 utility without 3rd-row complexity, so you get strong cargo space, easier access, and a simpler long-term ownership story when you buy the right year window. It is the SUV for people who want space and strength, but do not want extra seats they never use, and that keeps costs lower. Best years to buy are the post-launch years where the reliability story looks stronger and the bugs are calmer. So we shop 2021 through 2024 first, and we prefer clean record examples with normal tire sizes and normal suspension because mods can hide damage. Years to avoid are the first year buying unless recall history is clean, and any year without proof of rear camera recall repair completion, because the camera issue can be a safety problem and an annoying daily headache. The one common failure to watch is rear camera image loss tied to the coaxial connector issue, and you verify it the easy way. You do not guess. You put it in reverse again and again during the drive, you turn the wheel, you hit bumps, and you make sure the image stays stable. Buyer Guide add-on. There have been active investigations and updates around some Honda systems in certain years. So the smart move is simple. Confirm software updates and recall work were done, and do not trust a seller who says it is fine without proof. The new price of the Honda Passport is about $41,000 to $49,000, depending on trim. The used price of Honda Passport is about $24,500 to $37,000 for the safer years, depending on miles and condition. Who should buy Passport? Couples, empty nesters, small families, snow state drivers who want space without a 3rd row, and anyone who wants a calm 2-row that can handle bad weather with stable confidence. Who should skip Passport? People who truly need a 3rd row weekly, because the Pilot makes more sense if you are always hauling extra bodies. Start with the camera test right away, shift into reverse multiple times, then drive forward, then reverse again, because intermittent failures show up when you repeat the action, and that is the whole trick. Next, check infotainment responsiveness, tap through menus, connect phone audio, test navigation if equipped, because slow screens become annoying on day 2. Then do a full warm drive and feel the shifts. You want smooth changes, no harsh bumps, and no hunting that feels unsettled. Listen for suspension clunks over rough pavement, because front-end noise is a warning that the previous owner ignored basic wear. Check for rust underneath if you are in salt states, because rust is critical and it spreads, and you do not want a pretty SUV with a rotting underside. Check the tires and brakes like you are paying for them tomorrow, because you are, and you use that cost to negotiate, not to complain later. Finally, read the record story, oil changes, fluid services, and recall completions, because paper is proof, and it makes ownership safer. If you want a quick buying rule, do not chase the cheapest Passport. Chase the cleanest one with the calmest history, because that is how you avoid pain. And here is the reason this is number 1. It delivers the daily SUV life most people actually want. A quiet cabin, strong power, easy cargo, and fewer parts that exist only to break. Click the next video for best trims, and avoid years that look cheaper but become painful. Subscribe for reliable buyer rules, smarter picks, and quick checks before the good deals disappear near you.